Hey, good morning, everybody. How's it going? It's Josh Anderson, Anderson and Associates Realty. So today, wanted to bring an article that I read a couple of days ago. It's a 5 minute read, but it has some really great insight about what's happening, especially in the new construction market. Right, we're here in the Tampa Bay area, but I've got contacts all over the state of Florida. People that we are, other realtors, builders, and people that we're in contact with. And this article that I read here by Lance Lambert of Resi Club was just, I mean, spot on. The guys dialed in. So it says, housing markets here in Florida and Texas are so weak that builder Lennar spent the most on buyer incentives since 2009. They haven't spent this much. In fact, I'd be willing to bet that they're spending more on incentives than they were in 2009 because there was difference in the interest rates weren't where they are now. As far as 2009, they were a little lower. So uh, here's the thing. Right now, what to take away? I'm going to go through this article, but what to take away from this content is that if you live in Florida or Texas, especially near the southwest coast of Florida, Punta Gorda, Cape Coral, Fort Myers, even the Tampa Bay area, um, this is probably the best time that I have ever seen to go buy a new home from one of the large home builders. It says right here, an average $400,000 home, which is pretty much about what you're going to find in most of these areas as the average home price. It may give or take $10,000, $20,000, but somewhere around that, the average is 13%, right? They're giving out 13% in incentives, which is the equivalent of about $52,000, which means that if the interest rate right now is at 6.75, there's a very good chance that you can go in and negotiate that interest rate down into the high threes or the low fours, which is, what a lot of people have said is, hey, if I could get an interest rate in, the threes or the fours, I'd definitely be a buyer. Well, you can get that if you go to a home builder right now. It's not just Lennar, DR Horton, Taylor Morrison. I mean, all of the big home builders around the country and in Florida, they're all offering these incentives. So let me go through the article here real quick and point out a few things that he mentions. Again, this is Lance Lambert Resi Club. So it says Lennar, the nation's second largest home builder, told investors on Friday, which is not this past Friday, but the Friday before, that their spring selling season is off to a soft start. We do not see the seasonal pickup typically associated with the beginning of the spring selling season. So we continue to lean into our machine, focusing on converting leads and appointments and adjusting incentives as needed to maintain a good sales pace, said John Jaffe, co-CEO of Lennar. All right, so one of the things that they talk about here is right here, right? These adjustments came in the form of mortgage rate buy downs, right? And all red right here. Price reductions and closing cost assistance, right? They're going to give you the closing cost anyway. Price reductions are a little bit more difficult because of appraisals, and they don't want to mess up their pricing for appraisals, but they are willing to dump tons and tons of that 13% into the mortgage rate buy down, which is why you can get that permanent rate, a 30-year fix, permanent. It doesn't go back up. It's permanently down into that low rate of four and a quarter, 3.75, whatever you can get them to negotiate, and then also you can use some of that money to improve the home if it's in a stage where it's not quite finished yet. A lot of these properties that they're offering the large incentives on, they already have built, so you're going to get them the way that they are. The upside to that is you don't have to wait. All right, so in addition to Lennar acknowledging a soft start to the spring season, here are the six other key takeaways from the Q1 '25 earnings report. So, a couple of things. There's some stuff in here that's a lot of Wall Street talk. We'll kind of buzz by that, but there are some key takeaways for the real estate market. So, number one, Lennar continues to see or weakness in Florida and Texas, and particularly some of these spots that they point out here on the map. This is us right here in the Tampa Bay area. Of course, then you see Punta Gorda at plus 76. Their market is an absolute disaster right now, but an unbelievable opportunity to go in and pick up property and hold it. So renting it, holding it, all of that kind of stuff. Really good opportunity in Punta Gorda and just about all of the markets in Florida for that matter, and Texas right now, because I'm here to tell you the markets may be soft in those areas now. They won't be forever. And the people who capitalize on buying when the market is down will be grinning when the market goes back up, because they'll be like, we made our money when we bought the house. If you ever talk to anybody who's been in real estate for a long time, they'll always tell you, when you buy the house is when you make the money, not when you sell it. So, and buying it right, like when these types of conditions present themselves, is what you want to do. So that's the big takeaway that I'll start with. Um, as Resi Club has reported, many markets in these areas, particularly San Antonio, Texas, Cape Coral, Punta Gorda, and Southwest Florida, have seen an increase in inventory to pre-pandemic levels, and home prices have declined amid weakened housing demand. And I wouldn't say it's so much demand has gone down. I would say more that it's affordable. There's not it's an affordability crisis. There's a glut of homes on the market of inventory that is unaffordable, and not a lot of homes on the market that are nice, that are affordable. That is really the big thing that I have seen in my real estate practice here in Tampa. So, in general, home buyers in Florida and Texas, our two highest volume states, needed more help than most other markets around the country, said CEO John Jaffe. We need more incentives in Florida and Texas markets to assist buyers to achieve mortgage payments they can afford, as well as to offset both a slowing in migration environment and an increased inventory. So what that's saying there is we needed the incentives to assist buyers in achieving their payments, right? It wasn't that they didn't have buyers that wanted to buy the house. There was buyers. They just couldn't buy them because of there was no ability. The affordability was the problem, not the demand. So I think that as long as that continues to be the case, which I don't think is going anywhere anytime soon, you're going to see these home builders continue to offer these things. Now, if all of their inventory starts getting eaten up and it's gone and it dwindles down, then obviously supply and demand, those pricing will go up, and concessions that they give out to the buyers will go down. So for right now, it says Lennar is deploying bigger sales incentives, especially in Florida and Texas. Lennar's average sale price net of incentives declined 1% from 413,000 in quarter one of 24 to 408,000 in quarter one of 25. Last quarter, Lennar spent the equivalent of 13% of the final sales price on sales incentives, such as mortgage rate buydowns. For a $400,000 home, that translates into $52,000, folks. 13% of the sales price. That's unheard of, right? Take advantage of this now while you can. According to John Burns Research and Consulting, that's the highest incentive level Lennar has offered since 2009, and it's significantly higher than Lennar's cycle low in quarter two of 2022, when they spent only 1.5% on the final sales price. So just take that into account, right? The 3 years ago, in quarter two of 22, basically the spring going into the summer, they were only giving 1.5% to any buyer that walked through the door to buy a house. Now they're giving you 13%, which is why real estate professionals like me are saying, go buy new homes if you can. That is a great option for you. Okay. So let's keep reading here. Lennar's co-CEO Stuart Miller said on Friday, these are outsized, or in parentheses, incentives for the moment, and normalized incentives should be more like 5 to 6%, which is true. That's usually what we're seeing the builders give up in a relatively normal market. And I would say, like, if you're in the Tampa Bay area, you're probably not going to see a builder give you 13%. It may be more closer to, 8, 9, 10%. But if you're in Cape Coral, Fort Myers, Punta Gordas, all of the Southwest coast, basically south of Tampa and Sarasota, you're going to see a lot of that. So, um, in other words, where and when needed is what he says here, like pockets of Florida and Texas, where active housing inventory has bounced back and buyers have gained some leverage. Lennar is cutting net effective prices through larger incentives to find the market and keep sales rolling. So read between the lines there. A lot of times they are not going to want to reduce their price on homes, but they will dump all of that money again into getting your mortgage interest rate down and maybe doing some things for the home as far as upgrades. That said, a home builder's average sales price can also be skewed by changes in the home size. To at least some degree, this is the case for Lennar, which has recently introduced more smaller home offerings. Um, so we'll go over here. Margin compressions. We're not going to really go through that. It's a lot of Wall Street talk. But at the end of the day, it basically just means that Lennar is going to have to take a little bit less money on each individual transaction. Um, in the spirit of they feel very good about the outlook for the future. Uh, right now, they have all come to the agreement that they're going to take volume over margins. They want to keep the machine pumping out the houses. The margins at some point, especially in those areas in Florida and Texas, will start to come back when the market rebounds, which may take 12, 24, 36 months. We'll see. A lot of contributing factors that will go into that. So, um, last year, when it became clear Lennar would have to choose between offering greater incentives or lower the volume, the builder made it clear it would choose the former, right? So that, like I said, they're going to keep the machine cranking. We're going to adjust to the market. We're going to maintain sales volume, said co-CEO Stuart Miller. That's exactly what they did, and it's also why net new orders in Q1 of 25 were essentially flat compared to Q1 of 24. You can see the numbers here, 18 and 18 is basically the same, right? So they're betting on keeping things cranking and keeping and that the market's going to come back. So and when that happens, all of these incentives and wonderful time to go in and take advantage will disappear just like that. Okay. These last couple of points are more opinion, so we'll go over those real quick. No impact from tariffs yet. Um, Given that Lennar is America's second largest home builder, it serves as a good proxy to figure out how Trump administration policy could be impacting home builders. On Friday, Lennar executives stated that tariff policy has not yet impacted their business. John Jaffe said, "We have been in discussions regarding the potential impacts of tariffs with our supply chain. These discussions all start with a review of margin reductions Lennar has already taken. This leads to a constructive effort to identify alternative sourcing and material strategies. Additional, Additionally, we prepare our trade partners to absorb potential increases to their supply chain costs in the event of tariffs. To date, which I think we should take into, consideration to date, right? We've had no impact to our costs from tariffs, and we will work closely with our trade partners that further tariffs present themselves to mitigate offsets cost impacts. So a lot of jargon there. So let me read between the lines for you. Right now, it's not a problem. If the tariffs remain for a long period of time, they could become a problem. And if that becomes the case, you may see that cost being pushed down the line to the consumer, which will cause prices on homes to go up. and that could cause impacts in the real estate market. But has that happened yet? No. And will it happen? It's hard to say. I think the Trump administration has no intention on keeping these tariffs in place for long periods of time. I think they're using them as a negotiating tactic to try and get some of the countries around the world that we trade with to be a little bit more fair in the way that they trade with us, because they're not in many cases. And we shall see. I think this is a big let's wait and see. My opinion on it is I don't think it'll impact the home builders, because I think it'll be short lived. I think that the posturing and negotiating will get us to a deal with a lot of these countries, and those tariffs will be put back in line or taken out completely to where they're not going to cause an issue. So that's my opinion on it. Whether that happens or not, we shall see. Um, the next point here is again another opinion. No impact from immigration policy yet. Well, let's see. While it's unclear how many undocumented immigrants work in construction, we know it's a chunk. And in 2016, Pew Research said it was 13%. In 2021, Center for American Progress said it was 23% of construction laborers are undocumented. I like to call them illegal aliens, quite frankly, because if they're here illegally, then they're illegal aliens. Now, I don't have anything against these people, and quite frankly, I don't think that these are the people that the Trump administration or ICE are after. You don't. I talked. I have people that I work with in the construction industry closely. I haven't heard one of them say that there was an ICE agents waiting at the job site for guys that are swinging hammers every day. I don't see that. I do see the ICE agents arresting people that are bad, gang members, terrorists, you name it, and getting them out of the country. So, do I think that they're, raiding Lennar or DR Horton's job sites and hauling people away in ICE vans? No, I don't see that. I don't see any proof of that, and I don't see any proof of any disruption in the construction industry so far. So let's read on here what they have to say. While undocumented workers are more likely to be employed by the subcontractor rather than the builder themselves, business disruptions due to deportations, if they are to occur, would still be noticed by general contractors and home builders. So far, Lennar hasn't seen disruptions caused by any changes in the immigration policy, and I don't believe they will. But let's see what the CEO has to say. With respect to potential labor disruptions that could derive from immigration policy enforcement, our consistent high volume makes our construction a priority to our trade partners, said John Jaffe, the CEO of Lennar. To date, there has been no shortage of labor or impact to cycle time. Again, our strategic trade partners appreciate the financial impact to our margins of maintaining our consistent high volume, and we expect to be as well positioned as possible should any disruptions present themselves. So, again, CEO speak for right now. We're not having any issues. We've addressed the situation. We're putting in mitigating plans should these issues arise and cause us problems. I think that's really a lot of them saying that they don't really believe that it is going to be an issue. But again, let's take a breath, take a gulp, and see. So that's it for us. Bye bye for now. Take care.